Well, I've gotten a bit confused here on this little phone and having trouble uploading. Anyway, this is 3. I'm talking about Jack Hartsfield. This was when I was in the campaign in '83. When the plane supposedly carrying Larry McDonald, the congressman, U.S. Congressman, doctor, went down from Juneau, Alaska, Seoul, South Korea. Nixon was on it and pulled off just prior to takeoff. Geraldo, the reporter, got off at that time. And it's my opinion, as others, that Larry McDonald, it was a takedown to make it appear he drowned and disappeared. I don't think that's so at all. There was 296 or 286 that did drown, though. So I got in this campaign, and Mr. Flint says here, I know who was responsible. I was telling about Tesla files and mind control and cure an illness or create someone to do whatever the programmers want, which they would try to tell you is not true, but it is. That's how they've gotten away with all this. Okay, it says... Anyway, he says this in here, in March, he's shooting. I want to go to this, and God, I hope I didn't get a picture of the other. It was a picture of a fountain with something, water coming out of his, it wasn't a real person, but anyway, maybe it didn't go up. Okay, I put the first page to this, and I guess I have gotten confused here on it. I can't tell what I put up and haven't. I got down to Jerry Gillispie here, though, in this one. This will be the what? I don't know. I think this is the third one and a half. This is the last part of it. Well, you can tell by the hustler on the front. Yeah, the other one, this is the last half. Okay, I mentioned Jerry Gillispie here. One of the acquaintances was arrested in the murder of Jerry. Oh, my God, I forgot it was Jerry. Oh, my God. I didn't know it was Jerry. I thought it was his brother. I mean, that would be bad enough. He was the one that hired me at the FBI. He was the personnel that hired me, I think, director, in 1980, after they'd almost killed me April Fool's Day of '80 in Marietta, in Atlanta. And all that happened across the state line. Shouldn't have lived. It was hell. And then I go to work in mid-May for the District Attorney, Fred Simpson, Madison County, Huntsville, NASA. Okay, Jerry Gillispie was the one that hired me. Oh, my God. I don't know. Somehow in my mind I thought it was his brother, which is bad, too. But anyway... I'm reading this from Jack. He was FBI reporter, undercover as a reporter, Huntsville Times, and then for the New Mexican News out by Georgia O'Keeffe, my aunt, who was right next door in Abiquiu. So this is 84 right here when I stayed out there at Jack's, when he worked for New Mexican News. So what's this got to do? Somebody stole my files. I just found out all my letters from Jack. Anyway, let me do the best I can. It's not just me here. Okay. It was Jerry Gillispie was shot, and I think across the street was. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back, and I don't know if I could Google it or not. Not that could. But he was shot and killed in the middle of the street from his home. He lived across from, I believe I'm correct, from Senator John Sparkman, who was very much a part of receiving ransom about my kidnapping and what went into NASA, etc., to keep me alive. And Lina Dempsey, mother of the twins, was with him when he died. I don't know when he died. It was after all this happened to me. Well, of course, because it's connected with the shooting of Gillispie. I think I know I'm right. It's whoever lived across the street from Jerry Gillispie that hired me, and he was shot right walking across the street. And I know it was Senator John Sparkman. Then Lina Dempsey, who murdered her twins. Nobody's paid at all in this except me and the people who helped me for all this ongoing crime. So now let me try to put this up. That just got me there. I'm glad I went back and saw. Okay, then when one of the acquaintances was arrested in the murder of Jerry Gillispie, he jerked the copy out of my typewriter and told me I was not to write it because it was outside my beat territory. Isn't that something? Well, yeah, it is something, Jack. Yeah. When one of the managing editor's friends was charged in a medical malpractice suit, a civil damage suit, he tried to keep that out of the paper. He, meaning Bob Ward, he tried to rewrite the copy to make his friend look like the best he could, although what I had written was the direct testimony in court. Isn't that interesting? Then Macaulay and Ward and the editor, Leroy Sims, teamed up with a new gimmick. They wanted to know the names of all confidential sources I had cultivated in the past 2 or 3 years. Isn't that interesting? I declined, saying that disclosure could be dangerous and I would not do so without the permission of those individuals. They didn't like that either. The sources chose to remain anonymous, and I didn't blame them. Okay. The majority of them simply said they did not trust Macaulay, Ward, or Sims as far as they could throw them. When I continued to try to be an honest journalist, they came up with another twist. It seems Macaulay had made an appointment for me with a psychologist. Have you been listening to what I've been telling about the mental health field and the doctors and the mind control? And none of them have come out and told the truth that this is mind control used on the program shooters like Virginia Tech next door and James Holmes in Aurora, Colorado, who they put in a mental hospital and feeding him psychotic drugs. He's programmed. You have to stop the programming. This is not mental illness. And by the way, you got Martin Luther King, who was partnering with JFK. And I think well, anyway, I'm not going to say that right at the moment. And Reverend Andrew Young. The misuse of the mental health and its programming, and MK Ultra was, my ears popping. I got a bacterial infection that I can't get medicine for, evidently, and anyway, my eardrum burst about 1.5 years ago, and it's never been fixed, and now then it keeps popping like it's going to again. Anyway, let me finish this. The majority of them say they can't. Then I continued to be an honest journalist, and they came up with another twist. Seems Macaulay had made an appointment for me with a psychologist. Oh, yeah, now they play the crazy card of his choice and wanted me to go to him and tell all, including that, guess this, positions of folks I was dealing with. That was blatantly absurd. I went to my lawyer. He said, we'll go, but to a shrink of our choice. Well, in my case, oh, good luck on that. I can't even, oh boy, find a doctor who thinks this was ever anything but the truth anyway, because if they lie and say they thought it wasn't and they call me names, they're just doing it because they're vicious and mean. I went through hell, so did Jack. And you tell me why people who have blatantly come on here and done the things to me in the past should benefit from our hell and other people who've tried to do the right thing. Anyway, let me get back to this and make a lot of people mad at me, but only the ones who are greedy and don't give a rat's about people. Anyway, okay. See, I said rats. You can't say that. Make much about that, can you? I hope. Okay, so he will go to their lawyer and shrink of their choice. So why are they calling him crazy that he needs to go to a shrink? This is Jack telling the truth, all this mess. Part of it's been stolen, my letters, too, the last month. I didn't know it till now. Some of the really important one, too. Okay, we got on out on Times expense. Huntsville Times paid for it, so that he went. Took a battery of tests, told the shrink about their demeaning names of confidential sources in violation of journalistic ethics. He gave me a clean bill of health, but see, I wrote about doctors, and I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, Queen of England, Victoria II, so yeah. While Macaulay and Ward were concerned about my mental and physical health, Ward was in a Huntsville hospital for 10 days with chest. You wonder why I'm laughing? It should have happened to him. He knew he's one that threw everything of mine, even where they tried to kill me, what they'd put in me when my husband or ex-husband finally got the report. They wouldn't let me have it. It was done. I put all this up. Anyway, the editor here threw it in the garbage and told me he put it in a safety deposit. Jack come out. That's when I met Jack. He picked it out of the garbage and come out, and that's when I met him in 1980, and he saved my life later. Probably then, too. But they were concerned that while Colley and Ward were concerned about Jack's mental health and physical health, Ward was in the Huntsville hospital for 10 days with chest pains, and Macaulay underwent open heart surgery. That's what I've been telling about. Curing illness or create it, and that's what they've done with some of this that I've told about. And they can give you cancer or anything, make you commit suicide like Robin Williams, or et cetera, shoot yourself, program a whole bunch of them, armies now. And I was supposed to be, yeah, when even those tactics didn't shut me down, trying to imply that I was shy a few bricks. That's what I've been telling you about on here. They tried yet another gimmick. This time, Macaulay and the crowd started planting rumors about my lack of credibility. Okay, there you go. Isn't that something? The one person that tells the truth and me, and that's exactly what they've done to me. And my dad, by the way, I want to mention my father, Edward VIII. That's how they took him down. Total lies, even today. October 13th of 82, Macaulay. Well, I think that's about the time I got raped and everything stolen. Coming down from Ronald Reagan, turning the FBI letter box, carrying my book and rejections, and I almost took it, and all the stuff in it, put in order with a letter from the FBI on front, turned over at the mailroom at the White House, executive mailroom then. His son with his lapel, Ron Reagan, who's the host on a lot of programs, was the one that logged it in. How's that? And then I get raped and taken out in the forest, and the book and everything taken off of me. And let's see if I can finish it here. So October 13th of 82, yeah, it was about that time. Macaulay called, and the guy took my purse, and it ended up sent to Jack. Somebody found in a garbage heap and sent it to Jack. Okay, his name was stuck down in it. Okay, and I had to have done that. So I was fired. Okay, October 13th of 82. About the time this happened, Macaulay called me into his office and handed me a letter informing me that I was fired and that I had until 5 p.m. to clean out my desk and leave. He cited what he called flaws in my work. Being honest, that's flaws in his work. And a breakdown in trust between editor and reporter. Well, the reporter's trying to tell the truth and the editor's trying to stop him, so yeah, that'd be a breakdown in trust. He never said what the flaws were, even when I asked. As far as a breakdown in trust, I kept my mouth shut, but he was absolutely correct that I had learned not to trust him at all. Only an idiot or a fool would have trusted him at that point, under any circumstances. I departed the Times on that date and began looking for other employment in the city. Peggy, I was virtually shut down from employment. Well, I know about that, or at least full-time employment anywhere in Huntsville or in the state of Alabama, for that matter. Yet Jack went back, I found out, went back to work for the Huntsville Times. Of course, they had changed ownership and everything back a couple of years ago before he died. I looked from October to 82 until July of 83 for full-time work in Huntsville. Television stations, public relations, technical writing, any and all of the above. Nothing doing. I'm going to have to hurry this going out. Friends told me that Macaulay and the crowd, some contacted apparently for references, had used a variety of schemes to keep me unemployed in the city. One explanation to to a prospective employer was that I had a nervous breakdown and was unable to be reliable. He's one person you could rely on to tell the truth and all of it. Employment. Another was that I was a falling down drunk. He was such a gentleman. Oh my God, it is in the gutter, and they felt sorry for me, but well, wait till you hear what they've said about me. It's all lies. Wouldn't recommend me for a job. And the third was the best of all. I was a soft-spoken guy who was masterminding cocaine distribution in North Alabama. How's them apples? I did get some part-time work off and on. Did a ghost job on a novelette for a fellow. Did some inside security work at one local industry. Got involved in a coupon promotion. Not much, enough to survive with the help of an unemployment check. Peggy, they wanted me out of Huntsville in the most desperate way, meaning that I was absolutely on the right track on a lot of things. Obviously, I had scared the hell out of everybody or somebody, but as one source said, look at the positive. They had two choices, kill you or fire you. At least they took the least offensive. Yeah, well, okay, sue the bastards. A lawyer who I trusted said that there wasn't a lawyer in the state of Alabama who would take on the establishment in Huntsville in a civil case of the nature I proposed. Isn't that interesting? Now, this is what I've told you all about the world. Everybody, over and over, I can't get an attorney. I can't get it into a court of law. And I've told it over and over. And here is Jack, one of the honest I shouldn't have to say that, kin to a cousin to Hank Hartsfield, the astronaut, shuttle commander 2 times. Jack's honest himself. I shouldn't have to refer. It's crazy. This is what they did to me. I sold everything I had an interest in Huntsville, including half equity interest in one fairly happy home to put together a few dollars. I wound up being hired in Lubbock. I met Willie Nelson, by the way, prior to that, in Florida, when it was really bad for me, yeah. That, too, is interesting. The managing editor who hired me had asked about the conditions under which I left the Times. I told him I was fired because they had insisted on the names of confidential sources I had cultivated in recent years. He found that interesting. Well, the truth was he was telling the truth about people doing his job, which is unlike any of the press today, the Illuminati control, lying SOBs. You don't hear about mind control, about my kidnapping, taking down my father, what you did to Great Britain, you're doing to your own people. Some of them, of course, look what they're doing to me. Okay, the managing editor later told me he called Macaulay